All right. What's up, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Model Monday Live, the only place where you can go to compete live in CAD vs. CAD speed modeling against the best CAD users in the world. We've got multiple tournament champions, multiple world champions hanging out here in the chat with us today, and it is so good to see all of you in here today. Hello, one and all. How's everybody doing? Welcome. It's good to kind of click through and read the chat here. I see that there's a lot of our good friends here in the chat hanging out with us. And let's just take a moment here and say hello to some of these amazing people. We got Pico Boo saying woot woot, first person in the chat. Actually kind of up above here in the chat. Let's see if we can get that to be displayed. There we go. Pico Boo saying woot woot. We got Eco Stang saying we're no strangers to love. You know the rules and so do I. A full commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. Yeah, that's right. And of course, you wouldn't get this level of CAD vs. CAD speed modeling from any other live stream. And guys, we got Rockcrawler here. He says hello all. We got Pico Boo here. Hello. Mesa Makes is here. We're drinking out of our brand new custom Mesa Makes coffee mug today. I am officially a member of the Mesa Makes 1000 member club. Feel very honored. The coffee is like so much more tasty out of this mug. Thank you, Mesa Makes, as I almost choke on it. And guys, Eco Stang once again saying hello. Says we need some more CATIA content. I don't think the CATIA Reddit board would agree with that. I got pretty shunned when I tried to share the magic of CAD speed modeling over there. So maybe you can talk to the admin over there and see what his deal is. See why he hates 3D CAD speed modeling so much. Gummy is here. Says hello, everyone. The Time-Lapse 3D channel is here. Hello, my friend. Thank you for joining us. And Guntis is here. Hello. Matab is here. What's up, my friend? Hot off his win from the recent CAD vs. CAD speed modeling tournament. Great to see you in here. Victor K, the world champion 2023, is here in the chat with us. He's going to give you guys a challenge today in the speed modeling challenges. Monu P Designs is here. Hello, my friend. Paragene is here. Hello. Atse is here. Says hello, everyone. Just dropping by to say hi. Hello. Thank you for dropping by. Edwin is here. What's up, Edwin? Welcome. And Ricardo Jean, another tournament winner from this year. We got all the tournament champs in here today. This is awesome. This is going to be some excellent speed modeling today. And CMYK is here. FPV, let's go. And Shivam S is here. Hello. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. And Mesa Makes says his roommates are saying hello also. Hello to all the roommates of Mesa Makes. Welcome. T127 is here. Hello. First time here. Welcome, T127. Great to see you in here. And I love your training section, bro. Thank you for joining us, guys. Let's get into it here today. This is Monday, September 1st. You guys are here for some live CAD speed modeling, and we are going to get into it here today. Later this week, we have our very first match in the tournament. I'm so excited to see how the tournament shakes out. We're still getting the lineups together to make sure that the schedule works for everyone. You can imagine we've got 16 people. Not everyone can make it every Friday, so it takes a lot of work. Shout out to Vicky. Thank you, Vicky, for organizing all these amazing CAD runners and making sure that we get to have a really good CAD vs. CAD tournament this time around. We couldn't do it without the amazing organization skills of Vicky, so thank you, Vicky. And Mazda Bass 2, or Mazda Bass probably, 2 says, first time catching a live, welcome. Thanks for joining us. All right, guys, today we're going to do 2 CAD speed modeling challenges for all of you in the chat. We're going to have some updates from TooTallToby, and we're going to do a live solve using 3D CAD, and of course, hang out with the best chat ever. And I want to, of course, say thank you to everyone from the community. We couldn't have TooTallToby without the amazing community that we've got. So anyone who has subscribed to the YouTube channel, thank you. Thank you to all the people who have done super thanks, all the people who have joined the channel, all the people who have hit that like button. Pico Boo in the chat says, hit that like button. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to all the tutorial makers, all the super chatters, anybody who's done value for value, anybody who's signed up for our Practice Models Premium subscription, all the students out there, all the sharers out there, all the commentors out there, and of course, the amazing Discord crew. Thank you all so much. Without all of you, TooTallToby would not be what it is, which is the most amazing CAD modeling community ever. There we go. We did it. We won. Ever. Guys, don't forget, if you want to support the channel, the easiest way to do it is just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and it looks like we've got 42 people watching. Let's see how many likes we have currently. Let me refresh my monitor over here. 42, the magic number. 21 likes. This is what I like. Let's get that ratio up to 1-to-1 or even higher than 1-to-1 by hitting that like button. And to all the people who are here for the first time, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. So good to see you here. Goalkeeper gloves show us. Yeah, exactly. So we got Matab here in the chat recognizing that we got our glove glue. I'm going to just kind of cover this up a little bit just in case I don't want to run into any like copyright issues or anything. But we do have our glove glue here, and we did create a model and drop it into the Practice Models app. Really simple, Revolve, but it just goes to show that when you've got 3D printing, you can really help yourself. This stuff comes out really sticky. It's for goalkeepers to help get some adhesion on their gloves. So it really comes out sticky. So the last thing you want is to have this in your kit bag and have it start going off and getting all over everything that you don't want it to get all over. So it just goes to show the power of 3D printing and how easily you can just even 3D print something simple and have that simple thing really save you, really be powerful. So the power of 3D printing right there. That's what it's all about, baby. All right, guys, here we go. Let's get into today's first CAD speed modeling challenge. I'm going to show all of you a 2D drawing here. You're going to take a screen capture of that 2D drawing. You're going to try to turn that 2D drawing into a 3D model as quickly as you can, and you're going to do this using any CAD system. Once you figure out what the mass of this model is, you're going to calculate the mass, and then you're going to enter your answer directly in the YouTube chat. You can answer as many times as you want. So if you answer the first time and then you realize, like, oh, maybe I got something wrong, you can answer again and again and again, but we only accept the final answer. So if you answer and it's correct, and then you answer again and it's incorrect, well, guess what? You're not going to win the point. And so this is the material densities that we use here in TooTallToby, in the TooTallToby community. So take a screen capture. You're going to use screen capture in just a moment to capture the drawing. So take a screen capture right now, and that way you can have these material densities ready to go on standby so that you can start programming them into your library if you don't already have them. When we're in the TooTallToby Practice Models app, the first couple of practice models here, we try to keep it simple. So the very first model that you go through when you first get to the website, the very first challenge that you go through is designed to kind of be easy for everyone, regardless of what CAD system you're using. So I simply say, what is the mass of this part, and assign ABS, and use your default material, your default ABS. And we do the same thing with the second challenge that shows up in the library. We just say, look, use your ABS. We've got enough of a tolerance on this thing that you're probably going to be able to get it correct, even if your ABS is a slightly different density than mine. But eventually we got to get this dialed in, because in engineering, we're really trying to get precise. And so eventually what you're going to see here is that the materials that are in the Practice Models app are going to have a very specific density called out down here in the title block. So you can see that down here in the title block, we've got this density of exactly 7,800 kilograms per cubic meter, and that's our density for plain carbon steel. Your plain carbon steel in your CAD system, if you're using Fusion or SolidWorks or Onshape or FreeCAD, your plain carbon steel might have a slightly different density. So you're going to need to really get those densities dialed in if you want to get these answers correct and continue earning points on the website and also here on Model Monday Live. So make sure that you grab that material density, make sure you add it to your library, make sure you've got that ready to go. And so the basic rules are that when you're modeling, when I show you this 2D drawing and you start modeling this thing up, you are going to be able to, you're going to need a CAD package that can input density and output mass. But other than that, you're going to be able to use any 3D CAD package. And make sure you use the specified precision. First person to answer correctly in the chat will be declared the winner. And what do you win? You win a point on our coveted Model Monday Live leaderboard, or a coveted point on our Model Monday Live leaderboard. So you can see that last month we had 6 points up for grabs. The month before we had 6 points up for grabs. The month before I think we had 9 points up for grabs. A little bit of a longer month there, an extra extra Monday during that month. But you can see here that basically, if you imagine, we've got 24 points up for grabs still before the end of the year. So first place currently is 16. It truly is anyone's game, and anyone can pull ahead here and win if you just start getting on that good streak. You can see here in February, Aaron won 5 of the 6 points. So if you could do that three or 4 months in a row, then you're going to win Model Monday Live for 2025. So to get that first point, what you got to do is you got to answer this question: what is the mass of this part? Which is coming up in just a moment. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much it for our warm-up here. Here we go. As soon as I show this 2D drawing, you are going to be challenged to turn this into a 3D model. And this first Model Monday Live Speed Modeling Challenge, you versus the chat, begins in 3, 2, 1, go! What is the mass of this part in xx.x grams? And you can see here that this part is called LLAMAS, and it's got several different views here. You can see this model may be 3D printed and mirrored and 3D printed to hold something under your desk, like a phone, a keyboard, etc. We actually did a special live stream last week where we showed kind of what the modeling process is to come up with a shape like this. But now it's up to all of you to try to model this up. And what's cool about this part is you could actually print it out. It's got some countersinks on the underside, and you could actually then put this into your desk and then use it to hold your phone or hold a keyboard or hold anything, a book, you know, anything, a tablet. You can hold anything that's kind of like long and flat and that you might want to get off the top of your desk but still know where it is. All right, so I'm just going to take a final sip of my coffee here, and I'm going to let you guys grab a screen capture and begin modeling, and soon we're going to see answers rolling in. What is the mass of this part in xx.x grams? This is a tier 4 model. So it's probably going to take a few moments for this model to complete. All right, I'm doing a little bit of rearrangement here on my desk while we're talking. Mason Make says, I might be a little biased, but Onshape is amazing. Yes, indeed, I agree. 100% agree. Yes. Taught myself CAD on Fusion to print discounted bushings for my antique tractors. Nice. But I've since migrated to Onshape since watching TTT. Oh, that is awesome. Thank you, Mazda Base. That is really cool to hear. And yes, I'm very much enjoying my experience with Onshape. Super impressed with it, both as a CAD software and as a multi-user collaboration solution. There's nothing else I've seen like Onshape that lets multiple users work together simultaneously on the same project, on the same assembly, even on the same parts simultaneously. And I really enjoy the Onshape branching and merging. But that all being said, a lot of you have been watching and have seen that I've been also expanding my knowledge to Fusion and FreeCAD. So it's been really interesting. And one of the things I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on is creating the tutorials where we show how do you build this in SolidWorks? How do you build it in FreeCAD? How do you build it in Onshape? How do you build it in Fusion? So I think I'm going to continue doing that, especially with some of the tier 1 models going through the TooTallToby library, because first of all, I'm learning a lot, which is cool. And also, I think that a lot of people enjoy watching that and kind of seeing how the different CAD systems can build the same part. So definitely something that I've been enjoying, and hopefully we're going to learn more and more about some of these different CAD systems. Watching the show, but I'm out of commission, cut my hand on a diesel engine. Oh, no. That's not good. Or out in the diesel shop. That's not good. Wishing you the best, Corey. Heal the hand. Get to splash some Neosporin in there, and then you'll be golden. Look at Gray already coming in with an answer. 39.54. Is it correct? Is it not correct? We're not going to find out whether or not it's correct until we get to the halfway point of the episode, but he's now retracted his message. I wonder if he's thinking maybe it's incorrect. Brandon says, I used SolidWorks in all of college as mechanical engineer major. Then my internship used Inventor, and it was fairly easy to transition. That's cool. Yeah, a lot of times when you do learn one CAD system, like the big hump is getting over the whole going from the 2D mindset to the 3D mindset, going from the non-parametric mindset to the parametric mindset. And then once you get past that, you should be able to kind of pick up different CAD systems as needed. And they all have their advantages and disadvantages. You know, so it's not to say that one is the absolute best. It really does matter what you're doing. And a lot of times it's just a matter, like any trade, it's just a matter of really learning your trade. You know, this might be a little bit of a hot take, but I'm going to say that a master carpenter using Ryobi tools could probably achieve most of the same results as using maybe Milwaukee tools. You know, but they, of course, are going to prefer one over the other for one reason or another. But if you're a master carpenter, especially when you're doing kind of the more basic tasks, you know, you're probably going to be able to achieve the same results because that knowledge is inside of you. You know, the true magic is happening inside of you, not so much with the tools. So I think you could say the same thing about 3D CAD for a lot of applications. That being said, they all do have their kind of unique differences, unique strengths, and it's good to kind of know what you're trying to accomplish and then deciding what CAD system you're going to go with. All right, guys, don't forget, if you want to support the channel, the easiest way to support the channel is to like, subscribe, share, and reshare. That is a fantastic way to help support the channel. Same thing goes for Snap-on tools. They're worthless if you don't know how to use them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Snap-on tools, fantastic tools. You know, there's certain companies. This is one company in particular I can think of that kind of like makes their entire profit by cloning Snap-on tools. And I'll bet if you're a master mechanic, you could get by just fine with a set of those tools as opposed to the actual Snap-on tools. So guys, this is probably the most controversial episode we've ever done of Model Monday Live. I am just slamming these hot takes on different things. I'm probably going to get totally like flamed and attacked in the comments and after the episode airs. I should probably just quit while I'm ahead here. So we're gonna keep moving forward. We're gonna keep moving forward on this episode. All right, guys, don't forget your mission this week is to tell at least one coworker about the TooTallToby YouTube channel. Make sure that you guys you walk up to your coworkers, whisper in their ear right when they're in the middle of working on important charts and graphs. They really like it when you do that. And if you have the financial means and you want to see this train continue to roll on, consider signing up for Practice Models Premium. We'll talk about Practice Models in just a few minutes. Consider joining the YouTube channel. If you join at the level of Buy Me a Cup of Coffee, then you will get a special TooTallToby Practice Models drawing created just for you. In fact, LLAMAS here is a member of TooTallToby at the Buy Me a Cup of Coffee level. So this is a special model that we're creating for him. He does a lot of coding. He's a coding master. And just an all-around good guy. And LLAMAS, I figured it would be good for him to have a little rack that he could use to hold his tablet or hold his computer. You could probably even make one of these to hold an extra laptop, which is honestly what he'll probably use it for. But this is a special one here for LLAMAS, who joined the channel at the level of Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. So thank you to LLAMAS. And again, if you have the financial means, you could always visit us at TooTallToby.com/donate as well. And we really appreciate that support. All right, guys, if you're in the world of SolidWorks and you want to get some training from an expert, well, we have a path to help you get up to speed, the SolidWorks Zero to Hero training. I know SolidWorks for makers right now is like $48 or something like that. So if you're looking for a cheap solution and then you want to get some training from that solution, you could visit us. You could get that cheap solution and then you could visit us at TooTallToby.com. We've got all these training packages bundled together. You can start out for free without even buying anything, the 30-minute quick start. And then if you like the way I teach, if you like my style, if you want to learn from an expert, you could take the training on SolidWorks 101 and then your CSWP prep training. And before you know it, you'll be all the way through your CSWP. We had somebody buy that class and just pass the CSWP this past weekend. Left us some really nice notes and said, like, I got through it. It was no problem. Got perfect scores on some of the sections. We even had somebody in the Discord this morning post their perfect score from section 1. So definitely getting the results here from the CSWP prep training class. Be sure to check it out if you're in the world of SolidWorks. And of course, if you ever want custom training, you know, one of my favorite things to do is to create stuff like this under the desk 3D printed rack. I have it here connected for this keyboard here because I like to take this keyboard and just get it out of the way. I don't even need to look at it. Look at this. No look. Boom. Slide it underneath there. Now it's out of the way. Now things look good. So I really like this idea of going from having a napkin sketch, having an idea, and then taking that idea and turning it into a 3D model. So if you ever run into anybody who's looking to get that type of help, if they've got an idea, if you talk to somebody, a friend or a cousin or a nephew or an uncle, and they're like, hey, I got this really good idea. I want to turn it into a thing. And they want to help. They want some help turning it into a 3D model, and they want some help getting that into the prototyping phase. Be sure to reach out. Vicky at TooTallToby.com. We would love to work with a customer like that. I see Matab has come in with his answer. I've been waiting to interrupt you, Matab, but I do have these massive, bright goalkeeper gloves with finger saves here. TooTallToby style goalkeeper gloves that are just huge. So thought you guys would like to see that. So there you go. Another hot take, Adidas makes pretty good soccer stuff, football stuff. So that's probably not that hot of a take, right? Those giant mitts, I'm going to be stopping everything, right? My hands are almost as big as the entire goal. All right, guys. We are heading into the tournaments. It starts this week. Let's go. First matches are going to take place on Friday, September 5th. Cannot wait. Visit us at TooTallToby.com/tournaments. We do sorry guys, I never went back. First matches start this Friday, September 5th. TooTallToby.com/tournaments. And we do, of course, have the tournaments Wall of Fame up, and a brand new addition to the Wall of Fame went up last week. Here we go. Look at that. Matab, August 8th, 2025, took down the Summer Open. Our tournament champion from Bangladesh, Matab, officially on the Wall of Fame here, joining giants in the speed modeling industry like Ricardo Jean, Mr. Fancy Pants, Rambro's Workshop, Airwick, Victor K, Allness, Gerben, Cam Smith, and of course, Ivan the Reasonable. Started off winning the very first tournament, had an Ivan exploit named after him. He's a true legend in the world of 3D CAD speed modeling. So congratulations to Matab landing on that Wall of Fame. I think that's so cool. Congratulations winning that tournament as well. All right, guys, and final thing I just wanted to mention before we talk real briefly about Practice Models Premium is I will be live and in person at PDX. It's coming up next month. It's already next month now, October 21st and 22nd in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you are in the Midwest area, or if you just want to go to the desert for a few days, hang out with TooTallToby, we're going to be doing this on October 21st and 22nd. It's 2 days of training, tips, tricks, and networking. It's called the Product Development Expo, so it's really geared around the idea of taking an idea and bringing it to market quickly and helping to develop your products into something that can be manufactured and can be sold. So accelerating the speed of engineering is kind of the tagline, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great conference. Aaron does a fantastic job of organizing these. He did his first one last year, and it's only grown in both organization and the number of people that are going to be there. It's really, really impressive what he's put together here. So if you want to develop practical engineering skills you can use immediately, sign up for the Product Development Expo. Link is in the chat as we speak. Shout out to Vicky for getting that link into the chat so quickly. And check that out for sure. Would you ever consider making an Onshape 0 to Hero? Yes, for sure. I would love to do that. So if that's something that is appealing, I'll make it happen for sure. Yeah, thank you. Thank you to Dunderzut. Dunderzut. That's a good name. I like that. Solid. Guys, I couldn't go forward without giving a shout out to https://mesa-makes-shop.fourthwall.com. Mesa Makes is in the chat. He's been a good friend of the show for a long time. He does co-commentary with me during the tournaments, and he's got a shop with some fantastic gear as well, including this 1,000-member club mug that I'm rocking here today. Educate, fabricate, dominate. That's the way to do it. Visit his shop. If you guys know Corey, you know he's a great guy. You want to support him, visit his shop. All right, final thing I want to talk about. We are doing a new partnership here with Practice Models, and what I mean by that is with a totally free account, you can go to TooTallToby.com. You can say access full library, and in the second half of the show, we're going to see the challenge show up here. So instead of me showing the challenge on screen, we're going to see the challenge show up here in our featured challenge models. Now, last month we had a company that was sponsoring our featured challenge models. Shout out to macropad.io. And we are looking for a new sponsor for the featured challenges. So if you work at a company or if you have a company and you want to get the word out to the TooTallToby crew, we can get you featured up here. We can get your banner featured up here so that you can kind of get some advertisement out there for the members who are doing the challenges. And what happens with the featured challenges is that all the functionality of premium is available. And so the main thing that means is that the try again function is unlocked when you are doing the featured challenge practice model. So normally try again is only available for practice models premium subscribers, but try again is available for our featured challenges. The other thing that we see with our featured challenges is a lot of times we feature them here in Model Monday Live so that everybody can participate in the second half of the show. So make sure that you've got yourself a TooTallToby free account. You can sign up for it right now so that you're ready for the second half of the show, which is coming up in about 5 minutes. So what Practice Models is, the Practice Models app is our way of putting together a library of real-world models and helping our users learn 3D CAD by completing these real-world models. The Practice Models app features a library of over 200 challenges, and you can see some examples of these challenges on screen right now. You can see it's everything from woodworking, furniture, 3D printed parts, machined parts, sweeps, lofts, sheet metal. There's all kinds of variety in this library, and that's what our users really enjoy because it lets them kind of model things that are a little different from what they might model at the office all day. So you can see here, if I go access full library, and then we go down here through this list, this is what that library looks like, and our users are challenged to complete the models here from this library. There's over 200 challenges here. You can filter by the difficulty level that you're currently ready to take on. So if you're just getting started in 3D CAD, maybe you try to go through all the tier 1 challenges first, and then you move on tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. Or maybe you say, you know what, I'm really interested in learning about 3D printing, so I'm going to filter by the models that are intended to be 3D printed. I'm going to go through and model them. Or you could do both. You could say, I want 3D printed models that are tier 1. That works as well. But regardless of how you choose to use the app, that's how you can go through. You can start earning points. You can find yourself here on the community scoreboard. And you can see here on the community scoreboard, we've got users from all over the world using a variety of 3D CAD systems. So lots of functionality here on the TooTallToby website, on the Practice Models app. And if you start using the app for free and you really like it, you can upgrade to Practice Models Premium, and that will unlock the entire library. So make sure you get signed up with a free account, and that way you can participate in what we're going to be doing here in the second half of the show. All right. And and for those of you that are interested in upgrading, the cost is $9 a month if you buy it for 1 month, $7 a month if you buy it for 6 months at a time, and then $5.83 a month if you buy it for 12 months at a time. And of course, that works out to $42 for the 6 months and $69.99 for the 12 months. I want to give a huge shout out to our background developers as well, Bodie McBoatpants and Hooby 3DFX. Without these guys, we would not have the outstanding functionality that we see on the Practice Models website. So guys, be on the lookout for that. We're going to use that in the second half of the show. And one final shout out here to Discord. Visit us on Discord, link down below. We've got a Discord community. We've got over 1,000 people in there, and it's a great place to get your questions answered. Now, one of the ways you can support the channel is you can join the party by joining us at the YouTube channel level of Buy Me a Cup of Coffee or higher. I do apologize. I didn't get a chance to update the presentation day. So this was actually the model last week, Ricardo Jean's model. I noticed this on a shelf in his speed modeling video, and so I thought I would try to model it up. So that was a pretty fun one that we did last week. And this week, our member, LLAMAS, has also joined us at this level. So huge shout out to LLAMAS for joining us at the level of Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. And because of that, he has earned himself a customized practice model. Now, what you'll notice here is these are all the people that joined us earlier in the year or last year. Actually, we started this actually almost a year ago in September. So these were all the people that joined last year and earlier this year. And now we're kind of restarting this recognition. Ricardo was our first one, and then LLAMAS is this next one down here. So huge shout out to LLAMAS. And here we go. Guys, the answer to this first question. Let's find it out here. So this is what that first challenge was. This one was for LLAMAS. Shout out to LLAMAS. And let's take a look here at our chat and see who came up with the answer first. So as we go through and we look at our answers here, this was a tier 4, so it took a little bit longer for our first answers to come in. Just make sure I'm not missing anything up above here. I think that's pretty good. So our first answer started coming in here, right around here. Looks like it was Victor K who came in with an answer, 42.5 grams. Rambro's Workshop, 42.6 grams. Excuse me. EcoStang, 41.3 grams. And Ricardo Jean, 42.6 grams. And Metab coming in with an answer, 42.5 grams. And let's see here. Guntis coming in with an answer, 42.6 grams. And we see here Edwin coming in with an answer, 42.6 grams. I like it. I like it. I like seeing that variety, a little bit of variety there. That'll happen sometimes when you're using different CAD systems. I know some CAD systems will let you get in here and create this shape here with a fillet feature, where other CAD systems, you have to draw it in the sketch and then extrude it as part of the sketch. And that probably accounts for that 0.1 gram of deviation. But you'll notice that on the drawing itself, we actually have 0.3 grams of available deviation. And so the correct answer to this first challenge is 42.5 grams plus or minus 3 grams. So guys, put a GG in the chat for Victor K. It was Victor K who was able to get in there with that very first answer, 42.5. That is correct. 42.6 is also correct within tolerance here. So Rambro's Workshop, 42.6, that would also be correct. EcoStang, a little bit outside of tolerance, but very well done. Just anybody who's even able to model this part in that short period of time is super impressive. However, in the world of engineering, it's not just about being fast. You also have to be accurate. And so 42.6, that would be within our specified tolerance. Congratulations. Perigene, I don't think I recognized you earlier. Sorry about that. 42.6. That is correct. 42.5, that is correct as well. Guys, put a GG in the chat for Victor K, who's our world champion of 3D CAD speed modeling back in 2023. And he continues to dominate to this day. Impressive, impressive. All right, guys, this is going to be your last chance to go through and create yourself an account here on the TooTallToby website. Remember, you can use a totally free account for this one. So you can go through, you can use a totally free account. And what I'm going to be doing here is just going through and getting everything ready for this next challenge. So good luck to everyone who is doing this. I think this is going to be a fun one. I think you guys are going to enjoy this one. And let me just make sure that I have all the info that I need. Okay, and I think that I do. I think I'm at least pretty close. All right, guys, and let me just see here this final thing here. I think it will probably be like these, a one of these, and a one of these, and a one of these. All right, guys. Well, I think that we've pretty much got our info in place here for this challenge. I want to say good luck to all of you in this next challenge. What you're going to do is you're going to head on over to the website, TooTallToby.com. And when you head on over to that website, what you're going to do is you're going to take a look at the homepage on that website, or take a look at the practice models page on that website. So you can see here, this is the homepage on that website. And if you head into the practice models section, whoops, sorry about that. I gotta just check something real quick here, guys. Okay, I had something input there wrong. Try that again. I refreshed YouTube instead of the website. Yeah, been there before. So if you guys head on over to the website, TooTallToby.com. Once you head on over to the website, TooTallToby.com, what you'll see is that in just a moment, a brand new challenge will be listed at the top of that library. Now, you may need to refresh. I'm going to let you guys know when that new model shows up. But as soon as that new model shows up, this challenge is officially live. So we're going to see this challenge go live here in just a moment. And once it does, says, oh no, the website is heavy. Yep, that happens when we're uploading the new model. Okay, I think it should be live now. So if we go in here to access the full library here, we should see that at the top of the library in that section that says featured It says something like featured models up at the top of the library. That's where you should be able to see this new challenge. Here it is, 250901. And guys, this is another special challenge here. This is another challenge where we are recognizing the people who have signed up for our Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. And this one is for our good friend, Rich PENN. He was the very first person that we were able to recognize here in this Buy Me a Cup of Coffee level of membership. So shout out to Rich PENN. He got on board with that right away. We're trying to roll out some other perks for that YouTube membership. But I think the biggest perk of all is just having yourself immortalized really as a member of the or as having a model created in the TooTallToby library. So Rich PENN, congratulations, your model is now here in the library at TooTallToby.com. 250901 Rich PENN, he's got his model there in the library, and that will be in that library forever. So congratulations to Rich PENN for having that first one up there. And guys, let's get into it here. We're going to do this as what's called a live solve here on the live stream today. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Onshape to do this live solve, and we're going to try to solve this model together. But instead of doing this using the PowerPoint, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to do this directly in the TooTallToby app here. So you can see that I've got Onshape up here in the background. Let's get Onshape ready to go here for this challenge. And let's get into it here on the TooTallToby website. If you visit TooTallToby.com, if you sign up for a totally free account, then you're going to see here that in the full library, you've got these challenges up at the top that anyone can do, even with a free account. And even if you do have a free account, we still have about 10 or 15 models in here that are free for everyone. So you can still get started. You can still kind of test out the app, make sure this is something that you like, make sure you're learning from this. You want to remember that when you go into the app, you're going to see here in the app that we've got some tutorials for these different challenges. So if you get stuck, the community likes to go through and create tutorials and post those tutorials. And a lot of times those tutorials will be in different CAD systems. So even if you get stuck, a lot of times there'll be a tutorial in there for your CAD system. But this particular challenge doesn't have a tutorial because it just got posted. Nobody's even done it yet. So let's give this thing a try together here using Onshape. Here we go with our live solve. Click here to begin. And whoops, looks like my CAD system is set incorrectly. So let me just go into my settings here real quick. I'm going to edit my profile and change my CAD system here to Onshape. Okay. And the reason I'm doing that is because that's going to track Onshape as the CAD system that I'm using for the challenge. And then that'll help me when I'm looking at my analytics later. So I'll be able to see like, okay, I did this model in Onshape in this many minutes. Now I'm going to try it in FreeCAD. Let's see if I can do it any faster. Now I'm going to try it in Fusion. Let's see if I can do it any faster. And wow, guys, we've already seen that a couple of people have gotten in here and successfully solved this model. That is pretty darn cool. So even just since we've been talking here, kind of getting ready for this live solve, and if you want, you can go down here into the first 42, and you can see how quickly people were able to solve this model. You can kind of see who was able to get up there and get that thing solved first. But wow, that is really impressive. So, all right, guys, let's get into it here. We're going to say click here to begin and go. So the question here is, what is the mass of this part in XX.x grams? Now, last year, we released this model for Rich PENN, and we had it made out of plain carbon steel, and it was much larger. I wanted to make this a little bit smaller because I thought that this would be a pretty cool model to 3D print. If Rich wanted to 3D print this and keep it on his desk, I've made it just a little bit smaller so it'll fit on a 150 by 150 bed. Of course, if you happen to have a larger printer than that, then you could always print it, upscale it and print it a little bit larger. That's the cool thing about these challenges is that when you do these challenges, you have the model, so you can change it to look however you like. So you can see here that in the case of this model, I think this is going to be pretty straightforward as far as the number of features go. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by asking myself, where should the origin be located on this model? And I think that considering that we've got these dimensions here coming from the center of this circle here, I'll probably choose to put the origin right here. And the reason I'm going to do that is because my first sketch is going to be the sketch of this kind of S shape. And then my second sketch can be created on a new plane that is offset up top here, up to this 38 millimeters. So if my top plane is already running right through the middle of the part here, then that's going to make it really easy for me to offset that plane up top there. And then I can extrude my second sketch, which is going to be that hex. So as far as the very first sketch, it's going to look like this S shape. The second sketch, it's going to look like this hex shape, kind of looking down from the top here. It's kind of hexagonal shape here. And then I'll extrude that down to the total length of the part, which is 146 millimeters. And then once I've got that shape extruded down, I've got that hex shape, I should be able to sketch the geometry to do a cut revolve here. So that geometry is a little tricky because it's going to be kind of like the outer shape. You're going to take this outer shape here, and then you're going to revolve that outer shape. And that's why I really like this challenge, because it reminds you that a revolve doesn't always have to be done, you know, to the center. It could be done the other direction. It could be done kind of to the outer shape. So this is kind of a cool model to remind us about that and let us practice that skill, which is all about, you know, what practice model. That's what practice models is really all about. So let's bring up our keyboard cam here so that we can see all the cool keyboard shortcuts that we're using. Let's move this drawing over here to the second screen as we're working. I know that I kind of burned off a couple of minutes there, but I think it's always good before you get started modeling to just take a minute and kind of think through the challenge, think about how you're going to make each of the different features. And if you start doing this, if you start practicing that here in the practice models, you're going to be in great shape when you're in the real world and you need to now create a real world part. Or if you want to kind of scale some, hand sketch something. You've got this idea in your head and you're going to hand sketch it. Now you can look at those hand sketches and you can say, okay, now how am I going to actually create the features for that? What sketches will I use? What features will I use? Where should the origin be located? And these are all really valuable skills. So if you like the idea of coming up with a game plan first, hit the like button on this video and let's get into it here in Onshape. So I'm going to put the drawing over on my second screen, put Onshape over here. I'm going to create a document here in Onshape. I'm going to call it 250901 Rich PENN. And I see that none other than Rich PENN has logged into the chat, says, oh no, I got here late and got downsized. LOL. No, sir. No, this is an improvement, I think. This is going to give you something that'll be easy to 3D print, that'll fit on the print bed. But of course, you could always upscale it if you needed to. You guys know that I like to remix these challenges before I actually release them to the public. But Rich, the big news here is that this, congratulations, the personalized Rich PENN model is the official first model here from that personalization promotion we've been running, and it is 250901. It was almost a year ago, September last year, when we started doing this, and I really appreciate your support throughout the year and everybody's support who's joined the channel in one way or another, whether you're a subscriber, Practice Models Premium user, a joiner, whatever it is. I really appreciate all the support from everybody. So thank you. And thank you, Rich PENN, and welcome to the live stream. I'm glad that you made it just in time. So guys, I'm going to be putting this in Onshape. I'm going to be putting it here in the public section of Onshape. So if you happen to get stuck on this model and you want to see how I constructed it, you can just log into Onshape, even with a free account, and then you can search the public space for this file name, and then you'll find my file and you can poke through the tree and see how I made each of the features. That's a great resource to use if you ever get stuck on a model and want to see the actual feature tree that somebody else used. So I'm going to say create public document, and let's get into it here. We're going to follow the game plan. Front plane, S key, begin a sketch, N key to get normal 2, S key to jump into the circle command. I'm going to create a circle here using the radius that's called out on the drawing, 14 times 2, enter. And then because it's going to give me the diameter. And then I'm going to do the same thing with that outer circle. So this outer circle here is going to be 31 times 2, enter. And then I'll kind of move my mouse down below here, or maybe I'll even sketch a line that goes down below here. So just sketch a vertical line here, and that vertical line is going to be at a distance of 45. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing down below here. So S key, circle, create a circle here. This circle is going to have a radius of 14 times 2, enter. And this circle here is going to have a radius of 31 times 2, enter. And so now I've got those circles in place. The only thing I have to do is begin a line command and create a line that maybe goes across here like this, quadrant point to quadrant point, and then create a line here that goes across like this. And again, quadrant point to quadrant point. Now, it doesn't have to go all the way across. The truth is I could have made that just half the line, but I just like doing this sketch this way to show you how well Onshape handles multi-contours, because, you know, this is a lot easier than trying to sketch and trim and make sure that you've got tangency all along the way. This is a much easier solution here. Now, as far as some of these dimensions go, what we could do is we could right-click on this dimension here, and we could say, change to a driven dimension, and we could right click on this dimension here and say change to a driven dimension, and right click here on this dimension and say change to a driven dimension. And the reason we would do that is because this circle and this circle here are equal, so I'll press the letter E. And this circle and this circle here are equal, so I'll press the letter E. And this arc and this arc here are tangent, so I'll press the letter T, and now we see that sketch goes back to fully constrained. Now, the reason that's important is because if this diameter were to change, we kind of want everything else to automatically update. So if I were to change this diameter to 66, let's say, we kind of want all this other stuff to just automatically update. We don't want to have to change it there and then change it on that other dimension, change it on the other dimension, and change it on the other dimension. We just want to change it there. We just want to change it in one spot. So let's set that back to 31 times 2, and let's remember that when we have sketch geometry that is related, let's go in and add those relationships. You know, we don't need to have a bunch of duplicate dimensions that are related to each other. Change them to driven so you can still see the value, but then add in those relationships so it's easier to make a parametric edit. So now we're going to choose extrude. And when we go into extrude here, the first thing we're going to do is press the space bar. And the reason we're doing that is because pressing the space bar will clear this selection box. So we press the space bar, and there we go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to choose this region, this region, this region, this region, this region, and this region. Look at that. I love seeing that, how that all comes together as you go through and click through those different regions. And then the depth of this extrusion is going to be 20, and I'll press tab, 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 and then for symmetric, I'll press the space bar. That way the whole thing is centered, which is going to make it easier for me to locate the hex. And then I'm going to press enter. So let's not undervalue that point. You know, when it comes to locating that hex, because I decided to create the origin right there, and because at the center of this arc, and because I decided to create that extrusion mid-plane, what I've done is I've set myself up so that the center of the hex is just going to be right here. So it really saves me having to go in and add a bunch of additional dimensions to locate that hex. I can just drop it in right there, right at the center of everything. And so now what we can do is we can choose to continue our steps here. We're going to stick with our game plan, which is to take the top plane. I'm going to press the S key. I'm going to choose plane to create a new plane, and I'm going to offset that plane up to a height of 38 millimeters. Now, the reason that I do this as opposed to just starting the hex and creating it at an offset when I start the extrusion is because this gives me something in the tree that I can rename. So click on the plane in the tree, shift N to rename it. And then I could call this something like upper start plane for hex, something like that. And that way, when I look at this model later, or more importantly, when my coworker looks at this model later, they can tell right away by looking at the tree, oh, that's the upper start plane for the hex. So now they know right away what's going on and where that dimension is defined. So I just do that as almost like a comment, or it's like a love note really to my coworkers. Like, I'm trying to make it easier for them. So when they start going through this model, you know, they look at the first extrusion, it's renamed to S shape. So just by looking at the tree, they're like, okay, I know what that is. And then they look at this and they're like, okay, I know what that is. They don't have to go and pick through the tree and edit features or things like that. So now I'm going to pick that plane, S key, begin a sketch, N key to get normal to. I'm going to launch the polygon command, single click here, move my mouse, single click again, let go of my mouse, single click again, let go of my mouse, and then I'm going to type in 14. So that extra click is just to confirm that we want it to have 6 sides. So I'm going to type in 14 there. There we go. And then all I need to do is just hit escape, pick this line, and press H for horizontal, and look at that, a nice fully defined sketch. That is exactly what we want from our sketches, fully defined every time. So now we can do S key extrude. Let's reverse that direction, and let's set that to a depth of 146, and make sure that that's set to add, and it is. Hit the green check mark, and now we go back to our front plane, S key, begin to sketch, N key, get normal to, and we just need to create that kind of revolve geometry. So what I do with this usually is I start out by creating a line here, just kind of like hook it up or associate it to the origin here with this vertical relationship. So I start out by creating a line here like so, and then I go in and I create an arc. So S key arc, and I just create an arc that looks something like this, and then I drop in the radius right away, radius 2. Then I'm going to hit escape, and I'm going to add some quick relationships here, and those relationships are going to be this point and this point are going to be horizontal, so H, and this point and this point are going to be coincident, so I. And then the final relationship is going to be this point and this point down here are going to be coincident, so I again. Now, I am going to use this line here purely to revolve about. I'm not really going to be using it for anything else. I could certainly just have this line come straight down as well, but just because I know I'm doing a revolve, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to opt to take that line and press Q, and that makes it for construction. And the reason I'm doing that is because now when I go to create this geometry here, like this, coming out an angle. Now I can hit escape, press the S key, jump into the dimension command, and create this dimension so that it crosses over that center line, and I can make that dimension a diameter of 6. And that just lets me kind of match things up with the drawing and make sure that I'm getting all my dimensions correct. And so now I'll do a final dimension here to this line here at 15 degrees. And now this line here just needs to come up far enough that it protrudes outside of the original shape, and then S key line, and we can create some additional geometry here, over, down, over, and up. Now, these lines here, they don't need to be defined, but I like to define my sketches even when it's kind of like a do-nothing line, just because it helps me maintain predictability in the model. So if I make that something like 25, or really what I probably should do is make that dimension from here to this point to make sure that it's sticking outside of the hex, or even like the edge of the hex to that point. So from here, from the edge of the hex to that point, and then I could say that's going to be 2 millimeters, just to make sure I've got a little bit of overlap there. And then I can create a dimension here coming down to 10 millimeters, just a do-nothing dimension. And then here I can create a dimension as well, another do-nothing dimension. Now, similar to the strategy we used earlier, we could maybe put in some notes or put in some information about these dimensions, but I think for now, I'm just going to keep moving forward with this design. So now we're going to jump into a revolve. So you see how we've created that shape. That shape is going to function as our revolving shape. We're just kind of cutting around this thing. So Matab says, I missed a straight line. Let's see here. Missed a straight line. I think I got it. Straight line vertical. I think I got it, guys. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yep, you're right. You're absolutely right. So what I did there that was in error, thank you guys very much. What I did there that was in error was I missed this segment here. So this should come up, over, and then go up to the rest of that segment. So let's see what I can do to kind of clean that up a little bit. I think I probably will just clean it up with like a trim here. So let's see if I do a trim here to get that shape off of there. And then this is currently coincident to something. Okay, let's get that off of there. And then we could kind of like move that up like so, and then move this over here. And then there we go. Problem solved. That's what I like. That's why it's fun to practice. Remember, guys, if you get into these situations, I'm going to Control Z here. If you get into these situations, you could certainly just delete this and then recreate it. But the thing is, if you take some time and you practice and you think to yourself like, well, is there any way I could reuse some of that geometry? I'm going to make a small vertical line here, and then I'm going to trim this, and then I'm going to examine my relationships here and get rid of this coincident. And now I've got this shape here that I can just drag up, and I've got this shape here I can drag over, and we're back in business. And I didn't have to like delete and recreate these dimensions. And those are the types of workflows that you want to spend time practicing while you're in the app, so that you can implement them when you're in the real world. When you're actually on the clock, when the customer's standing there over your shoulder, you want to be able to drop some of these moves, and they're not going to believe what they see. All right, so now we're going to go to revolve, and this is going to be a remove, and then we'll go here to revolve axis, and there we go. Look at that. That looks awesome. And then we hit the green check mark, And now for our final steps here, what we could do is we could press P to hide the planes. So P to hide the planes there. We could change the color of this thing a little bit. We're getting to the top of the hour, so I don't want to go too crazy, but I'll at least change it to that green color. So edit appearance, and then we'll change this thing here to this green color. And there we go. That looks a little bit awesome. And then what we're going to do is we're going to right click on the name of the part down here, and we're going to say assign material. And the material we're going to assign here is going to be from the TTT custom materials, and it's going to be TTT ABS, so that we've got the exact correct material density. And so then we'll click down here in this lower corner where we've got this option here for measure mass. So we click down here in this lower corner, click on the body anywhere, and we're coming up with a mass here of 87.7 grams. So let's go back into the TooTallToby app here, and we're going to type in 97.7 and enter, and oops, no, it's incorrect, not 97.7, 87.7, but it's kind of cool that if you get it incorrect, you get this nice warning to let you know that you got to keep going. So 87.7 and enter, and oh yeah, we did it. We got that answer correct. Matab says, masterclass in repair. Thank you. Rambro's Workshop says, that trim was neat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So there we go, guys. We did it in 16 minutes and 9 seconds. Let's submit our answer. And then one of my favorite things to do is after we answer this thing, I like to go down here and look at the first 42. So let's see where we are in the first 42. We got Gray in here. Guys, I released this model on September 1st, today at 1:36 p.m., and Gray was done with it by 1:39 p.m. 3 minutes and 21 seconds. Wow, that is super impressive from the time it was released. 3 minutes and 26 seconds. Victor K was only 5 seconds behind him. Man, and 3 minutes and 28 seconds. Only two seconds behind him. We got Rambro's Workshop, or we got Matab, excuse me. We got Matab there just 2 seconds behind Victor K. Wow, that is incredible. Guys, you guys are truly the speed demons. And here we see in the top 100, we can see how long it actually took them. And once again, look at how close these guys are. Gray finished it in 2 minutes and 51 seconds. Matab finished it in 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Victor K finished it in 3 minutes. So this is from the time you press start to the time you press finish. And this chart here, the top 100, this one can change over time. We could have people that come in and try it again and get a faster time and get a faster time and get a faster time. But this one here, the first 42, is immutable. And Gray was able to finish this one first. And he is going to earn the point here for today's challenge. So congratulations to Gray, but really congratulations to anybody who got on that first 42 board in such a short period of time. Wow, guys, that is really, really impressive to everybody who got on there. It is not easy to finish those challenges, and you guys did it. That is awesome. Jim U. Kerberos here using FreeCAD. Let's go. It's been so fun using FreeCAD and getting in here. I even posted my first FreeCAD speed modeling run. Earlier today, I posted the video. So I'm on the speed modeling board. And I guess that's a good transition to one final favor to ask of all of you. If you guys are out there and you're creating tutorials, or if you know anybody who's creating tutorials, or if you want to create tutorials, please consider creating tutorials and adding them here to the community tutorials board. The way that you do that is you post the video on YouTube, and then you go in here to data and analytics, and then you can see here in data and analytics, there's a section down here where you can post your tutorials. You could post one tutorial, or you could post many tutorials, and you could post it for one CAD system or many CAD systems, whatever you like. But if you are modeling these, it doesn't have to be a fancy tutorial. It doesn't even need to have talking. It could just be you going through and modeling and doing it at a speed that a student could follow along. You know, that's it. That's all you need to do. So anybody who's doing tutorials, you know, consider getting in here and consider adding these tutorials to the library. It really helps us, especially for the earlier models. You know, you want to think about this. This is going to be for students that are coming through, or when I say students, I mean like newer users. But look, at this point, I'll take it for any models. If you would prefer to do all the tier 5 and tier 6 models and record yourself doing it, you know, like I said, you don't even have to talk over it. If you want to, you can, but you don't have to. And the cool thing is that then your tutorials are going to get exposed to this entire community of TooTallToby users. So keep that in mind. And if your thing is more the speed runs, we'll keep them coming as well, because everybody really enjoys watching these speed runs. And I love seeing how fast you guys are able to model these parts. And check this out. FreeCAD, 39 seconds. Let's go. My very first speed running video from Toby here. Very proud of this one. So check that out as well if you haven't seen it. And congratulations once again to Victor K. Congratulations to Gray for getting the... Congratulations to Victor K. Congratulations to Gray for earning the points today. It was absolutely awesome to see you guys modeling through these challenges. And guys, that's going to bring us to the end of today's episode of Model Monday Live. I want to thank you all so much. Don't forget to hit the like button before you leave. Don't forget to share and reshare. Let people know what we're doing over here. Don't forget to join the party. And that was a pretty fun model. Shout out to Rich Penn. Thank you, Rich Penn, for the continued support on the channel. If you guys want your own personalized model to be created, you can join us at the Buy Me a Cup of Coffee level. Guys, last month you may have noticed that the theme of the Practice Models app was to add models to the library that are related to the tournament. We added a lot of them. I'm going to do sort here, so I sort the newest ones first. A lot of these models that got added last month were models that came from the tournament. And this month, what you're going to see is that a lot of the models that get added are going to get added from that library of people who have supported and have had a custom model created. So we're gonna see Bob, we're gonna see Dom, we're gonna see Mim Watex. These models are gonna be remixed and then they're gonna be added to that library. And you can see here just from looking at these, some of these are pretty easy and some of them are pretty darn complicated. So we're gonna see a nice variety here of models, but these are gonna get added in. And then next week we'll see, maybe we'll see another one of these next week as well during Model Monday Live. But just be on the lookout. You're gonna see a lot of models getting added to the library this week, next week, and the following week. And we're playing a little bit of catch up here, but we're going to try and really pad out that library this month with some of these fun challenges remixed with some new dimensions. So I'm not telling you to go back and practice or anything like that. I'm just telling you that this is something that you can look forward to for this month. And really, if you want to get the most out of the experience, don't go back and practice so that it's nice and fresh as you run into them this month. All right, guys, congratulations to our winners. Thank you to all of you. The most amazing chat ever. Guys, Model Monday Live is such a fun way to start the week, and I really appreciate all of you being here and helping me start the week this way. And I hope that you have a great rest of your week, and I hope that you have a great rest of your Monday. And we are going to be coming back at you live this Friday with our very first tournament kickoff matches for the World Championship. So if you are around this Friday at the same time, please join us. Otherwise, I hope that we get to see you next week, Monday, September 8th, for the next episode of Model Monday Live. And once again, thank you to all of you. It's such a fun way to start the week. Have a great rest of your Monday. Have a great rest of your week. And I will see all of you in the next TooTallToby live stream. See you, everybody.